Hey everyone, this is Bake for Life. Like I said, this is kind of an impromptu thing. I've never really done one of these end of the year kind of like lists, but I was kind of pressured into it by my peers and TM and T-Man both wanted to maybe talk about this during our news live stream on I think the first. So in a couple days. So I figured if I'm going to talk about my top and worst, or I guess winners and losers of 2019, I should actually build a list. So I do want this to be kind of a discussion as well. So depending on how many people show up and who want to comment, we'll see how long this goes. But I want to really hear from you guys as well, what you guys think your best figures of the year were. So for me, I'm going to do 5 of each in no particular order. So when I say winners, that's not necessarily the best figures possibly that I own. But the ones that I guess maybe are the most surprising or the ones that I enjoy the most, they might not be by and large the best figures that came out, but the ones that really I think stole the show for me. By losers, kind of in this like the contrast, right? They don't have to be the absolute worst figures that I have or reviewed, but they have to be the ones that were maybe the biggest letdowns, the biggest disappointments of the year. So that's going to be kind of the theme. The other thing is it will have to be something that I at least reviewed this year, either in a live stream, which I've been loving as of late, this one included, or done a preview of something like that. And it had to have been sometime this year. Lastly, it had to be a figure that actually is available. So there are a couple figures that maybe are on the cusp of coming out, or some people, maybe Asia have it, that I probably won't count in this. But that's basically it. So had to be one I did a review on or preview on. Had to be one that is available this year in retail, not something that I previewed, like say Volatus, which I just did the other day. That's not coming out for another year, and so forth. Hey, what's going on, Pac? King of live stream? I hope so. I would love to keep doing live streams. I still function. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you joining as well. So without further ado, I'm going to go through kind of back and forth. Again, the winners, 5 winners in no particular order, and losers in no particular order, and then see what you guys think and get your opinions on that as well. So I am using StreamYard today, so I'm going to highlight some of the comments and maybe discussion topics that we have throughout the live stream. So without further ado, we're going to start out with one of the worst. So unsurprisingly, one of my worst or losers of the year, and again, not one of the worst figures of the year, is probably MP45 Bumblebee version 2. If you guys saw my review of this, my live stream, I think I did both. You can probably tell why. While I do think he looks really great in robot mode, the QC issues, the looseness, the overall like kind of questionable designs in the backpack and the feet, even though this alternate foot transformation is really nice, the questionable hand designs, all that kind of stuff really bothered me, and I was really hoping for a lot more from this figure. The lack of like waist articulation, you can like, I mean, is that even articulation? That just seems like just bad design tolerances or something like that. So that is the first loser of the year for me. And I don't think I'm alone in that, but I also don't think I'm the one that, I don't think everybody's of the same opinion. Some people really love him and the articulation and so forth. But yeah, MP45 Bumblebee version 2 is my first loser of 2019. Conversely, my first winner that I want to talk about, which is kind of interesting, is the most recent figure I did a review of, and that is MP47. So it's just such a stark contrast from going from here to here. These are something like back-to-back releases, and to have this figure come out and be so disappointed, and then have this figure come out and be very happy with it, engineering-wise, tightness-wise. The only real disappointments for me were the paint quality. And that's hit or miss. Some people seem to say that they have really great ones, but I've also heard negative things about this as well, right? That that some people have broken hinges out the box, like bad tolerances and so forth. So I think it's hit or miss. Takara's kind of been like that as of late, which is kind of a disappointment. This is actually not even mine. Mine is, that's why I'm only showing the box. This is actually another Toy Dojo copy that I have here. My copy just arrived at T-Man978's house today. I'm letting him borrow it so that he can do a review on it. So keep an eye out on that if you guys are subscribed to him. So, Buta no Le. So I know Buta means pig, right? Appreciate your video for MP47. Made it through without breaking anything. Great. Gabe Wynn. Gabe Wynn thinks Psaltis is this Psaltis, is that worst or a winner or loser, Gabe Wynn? I need to know before we go on. Pack says I'm waiting on X Transbots before I buy MMC Psaltis. But if X Transbots wasn't making one, I would get that Psaltis. Oh, interesting. All right. And then I Still Function, one of my regulars. I swear, hey, that's an awesome logo too. A Mega Man inspired 8-bit Mega Man inspired Megatron with his blaster. I swear the MP Bumblebee came out of nowhere. Compare that to Hound that we've known for that was in the works. That's true. I guess you're right. We did kind of have those backyard like rumors of Hound coming out. I mean, we got that same kind of thing with Megatron 2.0 a while back. We still hear that now with like Jazz. I really hope a Jazz comes out very soon. So Gabe Wynn thinks Psaltis is going to be a winner. But all right, so we have a couple people on that. So let's go to my second loser of the year. Just to keep in with the same theme, MP44. He's one of my losers of the year. And again, if you guys watch my reviews, probably not that surprising that he's one of my losers for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, because there's a lot of other offerings out there that I think execute some things better than he does at less than half the price. The price tag, I think, scared away a lot of folks. And for me, that's a big loss for Takara as a whole because of this figure, right? One of the things that we've always really enjoyed from Takara is really nice figures at pretty reasonable prices, but they've just been going up and up, and this was just outrageous. The fact that MP49, the Nemesis Convoy version or the Black Convoy version of this, is $250 and doesn't come with a trailer and all the accessories is highway robbery. Some of the other things aside, the quality issues, just like the finer details, you see sprue marks everywhere. Just the tolerances in the legs, the dreaded knee issue. The figure stand that didn't work that well unless you modified it. The backpack, honestly, I don't think is as bad as I even commented on after having it. But I think the biggest reason why this guy isn't a winner of the year is that he is actually not my stand-in masterpiece Optimus Prime on my shelf. I have him here on my desk, but only because I need him for comparison with reviews for all my MP figures. So that's two losers from Takara Tomy for 2019. So Pac said, I think TE did him in with his high price as well. So speaking of that, that's a great segue into one of my winners, which is a direct contrast. I also agree that TE01 is one of my winners of the year. He is one of the ones that I think is just a really great figure. Came out of nowhere, Transform Element. This was their first figure. No one really knew what to expect from them. And to come out swinging like this with some crazy engineering, I mean, crazy in the sense that it was really intricate, but also crazy in the sense that it hit a lot. Like, this guy hides a lot and does a lot with the articulation that he has. Granted, nothing's going to beat right now MP44 in terms of his articulation, but if you don't do a direct comparison, this guy has phenomenal articulation, ratchets at every joint you can really imagine, a better chest and matrix and more accurate matrix chamber. I think his sculpt is really great. The paintwork is better on MP44, no doubt. This paintwork definitely is better, but I think for me, some of the proportions work a little bit better for MP44, but some of the other ones work better for TE, especially the lack of a backpack. But yeah, I was just amazed with this figure coming out. I didn't know what to expect aside from the looks, the aesthetics. So I had Magic Square, ordered that one, played with it, thought it was okay, especially for the price. They did some interesting stuff. But this guy has a phenomenal alt mode and robot mode and gets in between them in a complicated manner. But it was also kind of fun. After I figured out the transformation, he was actually really fun to get back and forth. And he is, but without a doubt, the MP primes that I have in my DTOF, and the one that I keep there. So let's see, going back, we have some other comments. So Tio Duran says, I have a feeling that if that 3-0 Optimus came out this month, it would have taken top spots hands down. I agree. So that's kind of a spoiler, but he was my honorable mention. I know I still haven't done a preview of this. I still owe 3A and Toy Dojo a review of this. I will get to it with the holidays and all. It's just been busy. He definitely gets an honorable mention, but I agree with Tio Duran. This guy is phenomenal for a collector who's kind of a snob about not buying non-transforming Transformers. This guy just blew me out of the water. And when I get around to doing the review, I swear when I do it, I will gush all over it. 3A impressed me so much with that, was just his presence at TFCon DC, that I went in and pre-ordered it. I went ahead and got the Bumblebee, and then I got the Blitzwing, which I still haven't taken out of the box yet. So they made a believer out of me. They recently showed, who did they recently show? They recently showed another figure from 3-0. I'm not remember. Oh, the Soundwave with Ravage. I'm super excited about that as well. So 3A/3/30, and that line, that scale is just amazing. So honorable mention, but again, not really within the rule set that I've set forth for my winners and losers of 2019. So we're just going to keep going. So Brian says winner for him. I'm not sure which figure you're talking about, Brian, but apparently he got a winner for Christmas, so that's good. Pack needs to get that TE. So if anyone wants to get rid of it now that they think their MP44 is better, Pack is looking. All right. Let's see here. All right. Yeah. Buta also thinks can't wait for 3-0 OP. So, all right, going to the next loser. The next loser I actually don't have anymore because it was such a bad figure that I had to get rid of it. And it was the MPM movie masterpiece Megatron. That thing was hot garbage. It felt cheap. It felt like it felt like a KO that came out because they had KOs come out very quickly. It felt like a KO came out, but it was like a low tier KO. Not what I was expecting of the NPM line. I really enjoyed some of the earlier ones, but I feel like they've gotten worse and worse as they've gone down the line. And that one was just absolute garbage. I sold that right away from once I got it. And then I went ahead and ordered a KO, and it took like a month and a half or 2 months to finally get it. But I just got this guy the other week. This is the Honey Badger one. And let me tell you, this guy is way better than the official one. In terms of paint, his paint looks phenomenal. It's nice and shiny, metallic flake. It has additional ratchets. It feels better in hand. Stuff isn't just loose and falling apart. He has ratchets here. His kneecap's not just falling apart. His ankles aren't just falling apart. The backpack holds together better. Like, it's just night and day what you get with this KO. And again, I don't have any negative qualms about KOs, buying KOs, especially when they do high quality that is better than the original. And I bought the original, so it's not that I'm just supporting KOs. I got the original and realized how awful it is and sold it and got this one again for half the price too. I think I paid like $80 ship from China to get this versus like $160 that the NPM one, official one's going for. So I can't recommend this KO enough over that loser. So, all right, so that was loser 3 out of 5 that we've talked about. Let's see here. Let's talk about our next winner. So our next winner is, and this was a hard one to pick, is Fraudo. I really enjoy Fraudo, and I've enjoyed all of the Ocular Max figures that have come from their Psaltis group, their Combaticons. I really enjoy Impetus. He was the first one that came out, and I was like, this is just amazing engineering. And I think they just took it up one notch with Fraudo, and he's just really fun to transform. A lot less worrisome with some of the fragile pieces, the weird neck thing and Impetus. I think he looks really good. The head sculpt, the accessories, the fact that they went the extra mile for some of the combined mode, filling in the gaps, weapon storage, the really cool engineering with the foot that allows them to still have ankle tilts that work in combined mode as well. Very clean looking. Like I said, fun transformation. This guy is just the whole line is really nice. Again, I did Volatus just the other day, and he's also great. But yeah, in terms of just overall better execution, Fraudo is my third winner of the year. So let's see, what have I gotten to so far? All right. Oh, okay, interesting. All right, let me catch up with some comments here. Pack saying that haven't been into non-transformers until 3.0s. I mean, I agree. I think that one and the Ultimetal Prime are really my only non-transforming primes. Hey, guys, edits, how's it going? All right. Ford Focus on me. Okay. MMC really brought the A game in 2019. I would agree. They've done a really great job. I had one of their designers, AK, on a live stream before. I think Ocula Maxis is just really great about engaging with their audience and their customers, and the fact that they continue to do that is really great. I really think that their Psaltis line and I think they've already talked about their next combiner, haven't they? I better not say anything because I don't know if they have or not, but they are working on another all-in-one, all built-in combiner. So I won't say anything just because I actually don't know what has been revealed or not. All right. Pack also says my top figure of the year is the Zhangjing Metal Beast Winged Dragon. That's the, what is it? Is that the Beast Machines Megatron? Yeah, that thing was huge. I'm not a huge fan of Beast Machines, so I didn't get that one. But it looked really cool, and we had a couple of those. So glad you like the Beast Wars. I love Beast Wars, but Beast Machines not so much. Wardum PJM says I don't have a single KO in my collection, but I'm waiting on a KO for MP44. First, for reasonable cost. Second, maybe they fix some of the issues. Yeah, I wouldn't blame you for that as well. I wouldn't mind getting a second one, especially if it cleans up on some of the issues that they have. Geisted says my top figure of the year is FT31A Road King, aka Motormaster. That was a really surprising one as well. So, spoiler alert, he is not one of my winners, but he came very, very close. It was a figure that I wasn't planning to collect, but Toy Dojo asked me to go ahead and review it, and I was really surprised. I thought it did a really excellent job. Great transformation engineering, great alt mode and robot mode. I was very happy with it, and the only reason I wasn't going to buy it is because I was already kind of invested in X-Transbots. But that, along with one of my other winners, spoiler alert, is the reason why I might have to go back and collect those two. But right now, I don't have Motormaster, their Motormaster Road King. Pack says it's Transmetal Megatron. So let's see here. All right, Ford Focus on Me says MMC having another combiner in the line has not been heard publicly until tonight. That is bad news for me. I hope I don't get in trouble for that. But it shouldn't come as a surprise either. I mean, this line has been very popular already, and I think there's no surprise that Ocula Max has been working on combiners for a while now. They teased a Defensor or a Hotspot years and years ago before this line came out, so it shouldn't be much of a surprise, but hopefully I don't get in trouble for that. Extra Zero, hey man, thanks for joining. Extra Zero said I'd like a second MP44 just to have battle damage one for my movie display. All right, nice. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. A battle damage one. It'd be cool to have some of those accessories. All right, so Buta says +1 for Road King and FT spoiler. All right. I thought I heard Defensor or someone else on your YouTube or TFW. Yeah, I thought AK kind of mentioned that, or at least hinted at that, but at least another combiner. I don't know exactly how much he said. Oh, and the Defensor was in instructions. Okay, good. So I'm not in trouble. All right, so we've taken a detour. Let's go to number 4 of my losers. So second to last loser of the year. And shockingly, not so shockingly, it's another official figure for Takara Tomy, and it's their masterpiece Jazz, their movie masterpiece Jazz. And again, anyone that's followed my live streams know that I think that figure was not good either. So 4 out of 4 so far of my losers have been Takara Tomy. So if I had to pick a loser of the year company-wise, it would definitely be Takara Tomy. They've really kind of shot themselves in the foot a number of times this year. Black Arachnius was middling, I would say. I think it's okay. I don't think it was fantastic. And like I said, 2 of my losers of the year are some of the most recent masterpiece releases, and the movie master releases. The 2 most recent ones are losers. I don't have that figure either because I sold that almost immediately once I reviewed it as well. It is just really, really kind of awful. Same kind of issues, just really loose. I think they could have done better with some of the transformation. I think some of the other releases in the main line have done it better as well. So to have a movie masterpiece figure that I think fell that far short or didn't take that much of a leap into the masterpiece realm from some of the other mainline stuff was a big disappointment, especially because a lot of people are really interested in Jazz. So I don't even have that figure. I guess I can show on my screen what he looks like. Oh, let's see here. Oh, I guess I can't do it right now. It's asking me to give it some additional permissions that made me restart, and I can't do that, obviously, because I would have canceled. I would have to shut off the stream. But Movie Masterpiece Jazz is number 4 of my losers. All right, coming back. I guess since we already talked about it, number 4 of my winners is another figure that I don't have, which is surprising because it is a winner, but I've already talked about it. It is Spoiler from Fans Toys. Fans Toys FT31C Spoiler was another figure that I had no intention of collecting. It piqued my interest a little bit after Road King and the quality we got there. However, some of the early photos that we got, especially from the side, the scale that I thought was off, but although I kind of backed up on that after seeing the scale chart, after getting it in hand and some recommendations from other folks that got him, I was completely blown away. I don't think the skinniness is really that bad. I think it's overall clean. The transformation was really quite intuitive and ingenious. I thought it was really, really nice that we got such a compact car that turned into a solid brick, but then also transformed into a really solid robot. There are only a couple things about it that I didn't really enjoy. Some like the flappy pieces there on the shoulders and the behind the knee part of the trunk, the front trunk. But overall, I thought it was super well executed, felt rock solid. And that combined with Road King really do have me very, very, very strongly considering double dipping on a masterpiece scaled set of Stunticons to form Menasor. And the Menasor just looks really great too. I'm really interested in seeing how the combined mode will shake out, given how heavy some of the pieces are. I wonder if they're going to keep that same kind of heftiness and diecast and for the arms especially. And I really want to see how the combined mode ends up working. Swappable parts, I'm not really that interested in because I'm going to go with the Toon look, but it'll be really interesting to see how they integrate it. One thing on them is though their kind of practices that they didn't really tell us how the combiner parts were going to come until after Motormaster and Spoiler, their first limb was released, and then kind of finding out later that their last limbot's going to be close to, if not more than, the price of Road King is really kind of kicking the gut. So it ends up being $70 maybe more than you were expecting to pay, honestly, for that set. And then X-Transbots came back with their trailer separate. So I hope that third party don't continue this trend of trying to kind of deceive us into what we're getting as a whole package, especially when it comes to combiners. I'm also worried about how the pricing strategy will work for Fans Toys Fort Max, because one, we don't know how many pieces it's going to be. And if we don't kind of have an upfront idea of how much it's going to cost, buying a piecemeal might be a very, very risky venture. So blabbed a lot about for a while, so let me go ahead and catch up on some comments. Eddie Powell, hey, thanks for joining. Yeah, if you have any additions to your list or any winners or losers that you want to share with the chat, please post it up. Pack says because he was an early 2019 figure, a lot of people are prisoners of the moment. Double Evil. You're saying Double Evil. I didn't get that one. Fans Hobby hasn't really hit it out of the park for the figures that I have, and just their weird proportions, like just the overall bulky, didn't really work for me. But I have heard really great things about Double Evil. I didn't like their Power Master Prime or Jinrai, but I heard really good things about the Double Evil, and he looks really great too. So if you're into those proportions, I think you'll probably be very happy. So I'm not surprised people are picking him. All right. Ford focused on me, so kind of agrees as well. Let's see. I still function. Bubba Boneface said it is said it best for spoiler. He just doesn't have an ass. Yeah, Bobby Skullface is pretty good about stuff like that. Let's see. Extra Zero says Pack very true. Talking about Double Evil again, I was trying to figure out exactly what I got. TFC's ST Commander. Oh, you know what? I really like that figure too, but it wouldn't. It's actually right on my top shelf. You probably can barely see it right next to the Matrix. I'm trying to do this mirrored right up here. I really like that figure. It was a surprise. The only reason why it's not on my list is because I didn't do a review on it, even though I said I would. I really needed to get to it, but that was a really surprising figure. The core bot in and of itself, I think, is my favorite part of it. The add-on parts, it's just like whatever. I don't really care about that. But the core bot and the alt mode and the combined alt mode looks really great. And I'm not even a G.I. Joe fan. So good call, Extra Zero, on that. All right, let's see. Pack also agrees that the TFC SD Commander, the Jungle one. I probably won't get the Jungle one just because it's a little too niche for me. Buto also was very happy with the reissues of Sovereign and Quietus. Sovereign, I don't know. It's one of those hit or miss ones for me. I think it's kind of middle of the road as far as fans toy stuff. Quietus, I think it was overall pretty good. I think it was a step up from the offerings that we had from before from KFC, but also had some weird issues and design choices with some of the weird tolerances and tabs and like that really like 5-layered wing on the shoulder kind of stuff. Pack is only picking what he has. I agree. Spoiler, I do probably intend to pick him up. All right, so moving on to the last of each, the last loser first, and then the last winner. My last loser of the year, and again, this is no particular order. I'm just reading them off. Is actually following up a Fans Toys win, a couple of wins that they have. My biggest loser, well, not biggest, but my last loser of the year of 2019 is Hoodlum. I did that review, I think, early in the year, and I just thought he was a big letdown. In terms of quality, he had a lot of paint issues, a lot of paint scratching. It was very apparent that it was an old design, I think. Well, maybe not very. I don't want to assume, but it felt like a very old design. A lot of us had high hopes that it would outshine the official Hot Rod, and I just don't think it did. Like transformation wise, I don't think it really did. Scale, that's really up to you depending on how you want your figures to scale. It was too big for me, so it didn't really fit in my collection. And while it felt pretty good in robot mode, there were just some dumb design choices, like the shoulders not locking in and just floating. It just didn't feel like a solid release. The backpack that came over and kind of hooked on, that didn't feel solid at all. So I think I got an early review, or I forget where I got that one when I did the review, but it just did not check any of the boxes for me. It made me, again, kind of question the Fans Toys. So they're kind of hit or miss for me. So that was my last loser of 2019, which will bring us to my last winner. And who is my last winner? Oh, one that people had called out early on, and it is Ocula Maxis Psaltis. Again, this is not like my number one figure. I'm not doing them in any order, but I was really surprised about this. When I first saw this figure, even being part of the Ocula Max kind of quote-unquote team, since I do their manuals, again, full disclaimer, I always like to say that. When I first saw it, I was like, I was like, it looks okay. I was trying to play nice to the Ocula Max team, saying, oh yeah, it looks good. But we got like a sample, I think last TFCon that was at my house, and I was like, this thing is just all over the place, felt weird. It didn't feel that solid. And then when I actually got the retail version or closer to the finished version, I was shocked how good this figure is. It feels like, I guess, in terms of heft, like a Fans Toys figure, or even like X Transbot's Gravestone. It's a very hefty figure, tons of die cast in the thighs. I think that the chest is all die cast, and I think it just looks more solid overall. I do need to put an emblem on here. I've been lazy about that, but I think it just looks better proportionally, like a bigger, stockier muscle builder build. I think that's how they described Springer before, and I think this just ticks all those boxes for me. He just feels really solid. Nothing about it makes me really worried. The transformation is very intuitive into all three modes. The alt mode is the only downside, and it's only a downside if you want complete screen accuracy to Springer or toy accuracy. But to be real, the car mode for Springer was always kind of janky looking to me anyway, with the more narrow back. So I actually like that they didn't stay totally slavish and went with a design that I think actually looks better as a car than a Cybertronian car than what the actual animation did. So yeah, this is probably my last winner of the year of 2019. If you don't have this guy, I really highly recommend it. Everyone I know that actually has had both the Fans Toys version and the Psaltis one said that this guy kind of just wins. It just wins. There's no nice way to put it. It just wins. Not to say that Fans Toy Springer is a bad figure, and I can't really even say because I haven't had enough time with it firsthand. But those of us that I know, definitely no one's actually said Fans Toy Springer if they had both. Whose opinion at least I trust. So it's kind of interesting because the stream started and people were calling out Psaltis. I don't know if I'm that transparent or if he's just that good of a figure that may have fell under the radar. But I think he's a fantastic figure. So my last winner of the year was Psaltis. So to review very quickly before I look at some of the comments again, worst figures that I talked about were MP45, Bumblebee version 2, MP44, Optimus Prime version 3 Optimus Prime, Movie Masterpiece Megatron, Movie Masterpiece Jazz, and then Fans Toys Hoodlum. So those are my 5 losers of the year. And if you guys are just joining, that doesn't mean they're the absolute worst figures in the world. They're just the ones that may have been the most disappointing to me or shockingly bad. They might not be the worst, and they might still be good figures. Like I said, I still have Bumblebee, and he has merits for sure. Still have Optimus Prime. He has the merits for sure, like articulation, paint, maybe some of that super animation accurate look in robot mode. But some of the issues and stuff like that, it's kind of hard to forgive. So, and the price tag. We've talked about the price tag to death, so I won't go into that too much. My top 5 winners, again, in no particular order, were MP47 Hound, a great figure. I think overall, as long as you don't have any quality issues with yours, especially the paint, I think you'll be very happy with him. I definitely think he's a better overall figure than Fans Toys Willis, even though he is almost light as a feather. I think somebody said he weighs as much as like a DVD and a DVD case, which when you put it like that, it does seem very, very light. But I think he's well executed and feels sturdy. Hopefully you don't have any hinge issues. I've been getting a lot of questions on that. Mine, no issues. It's over at T-Man978's house right now. Hopefully he doesn't find any issues with it or break mine. Otherwise he's paying for it. So my second one that I talked about was Fraudo. Fraudo is fantastic. My favorite of the group so far, and that was a neck-and-neck race with Impetus. But the neck on Impetus is literally what probably made it lose the race because his neck is kind of infuriating. I also talked about Spoiler, Fans Toys Spoiler, one of the best releases from Fans Toys that we've gotten in a while, or if ever. I really enjoyed that figure. I love the alt mode. I think it's super clean. Robot mode is really great, aside from a couple of nitpicky things. So I highly recommend that. And then talked about TE01, my definitive Optimus Prime. We got one loser Optimus Prime, and we got one winner Optimus Prime. This is mine, Transform Element 01. I think it's Op Leader. I forget what his actual company brand name is. And then last but not least, we talked about Psaltis, my Springer. Of the many Springers that we have, and we still have one coming from X-Transbot, he is my winner so far. It would be hard for me to justify replacing him with X-Transbots, even though, again, 598 Robots is one of my top 2 favorite designers along with AK. So let me get back to the comments and see what other people are saying. All right, let's see. So what do you guys think? Do you guys think I'm totally off base with some of these choices? Are any of my losers in my list winners in your list, or vice versa? All right. Gabe Wynn said he loved my Hound review just right today. Hopefully the instructions help you out. I think it was pretty intuitive overall. A lot of small nitpicky things that you just need to be careful with in terms of transformation, just to make sure everything closes up, like the gaps in the feet and stuff like that. But by and large, I think it was a really well done transformation. All right, Ford Focus on Me said, I think Psaltis is underrated, mostly since most people think the FT version is better. Yeah, I think it's one of those things in this industry, especially third party, is if you're not first, it's really hard to become the dominant winner. The only exception I would say is Fans Toys. I think people will buy something and then still pre-order Fans Toys and replace it. I think they have a really loyal fan base. And I think in some cases it's very, very well deserved. I think they're a great company overall as well. But I think people shouldn't overlook other figures, especially if they look at reviews like mine and others that have direct comparisons, to know that Fans Toys isn't always the best one, at least not for me. Let's see here. Pack says my number 3 best figure of the year was X-Transbot's G2 Wild Rider. Yeah, I think all except Overheat, the drag strip of X-Transbots, were all pretty good. Drag strip was like a big disappointment for me because I was expecting so much from it. That was the one I was like not interested in as a character, but when I saw the model, I was like, oh, that looks like it's going to be my favorite. And then it had a lot of issues with the front spoiler and the weird transformation with the die-cast arm mechanism that you had to like rotate around. And I don't think it was bad. I think it just narrowly made it outside of my top 5 losers of the year. Let's see what else we have. Paul Spurgeon says that MMC's chest and face bug you. Really? The chest bugs you? I think the only thing that bugs me about the chest is the grills are not as nice as Fans Toys. But I think the chest looks really great. Really bulky. I think the face sculpt is spot on. I really like that. Oh no! Sorry about that. Hold on. Drop my figure. Sorry. All right. Let's see who else we have going on. Pack says I'm pushing him over the edge. You might want to wait for X-Transbot. Like I said, I think from what I heard from 598, it is coming out fairly soon. And that was one I was really waiting on, to be perfectly honest, before the Ocula Max one came out. But like I said, I'd be hard pressed to replace it now. I'd love for MMC to do Cup and Blur. Jabber is really good. I think aside from the one piece that I broke, which I think a lot of people had issues with that same piece, I think Jabber was very solid. I think it was definitely one of the better releases from MMC. I was happy with that. I think it's probably in my top 10 figures of the year, but probably it didn't obviously make my top 5. MP47 price is ridiculous. I agree. I stated that in my review. $160 is a tough pill to swallow. But honestly, I would definitely pay $160 for this guy over paying $120 for this guy. You get a spike with him, and what else do you get with him? Some other whack-ass accessories. You get a ton more accessories with him. Ones that make sense. He's a bigger figure, more solid. And honestly, I think I care more about Hound than I do about Bumblebee, to be perfectly honest. So, yeah, I definitely agree. If he was like $120, I think it would be very fairly priced. Same price as what Bumblebee is. And I think Bumblebee should have been like $80. All right, let's see what Ward PJM says. FT's Maverick or Goose didn't make the top at any list. They were both your favorites of the year. I recently only got Both of those, obviously, Goose just came out. I think for me, it's hard to make a full judgment on that. I think Robot Mode looks fantastic. I think Jet Mode looks really good as well. He feels super solid, one of the more solid releases. I'm really kind of concerned about his combined mode. He has a lot of kibble on the back, and then I was trying to show off in my live stream what that might look like, and it felt like some parts didn't lock in, especially the nose cone that flips upside down. Although TM Reviews told me recently that he found a way for that to lock into place, so maybe it is rock solid. But honestly, I think I'm out on that set because Maverick, I thought that is kind of a train wreck. The shoulders and some of the things that they have going on. A lot of Maverick's pieces just float around, and they just hope that you don't touch them. Like this hip skirt, this piece up here. The shoulders, like I said, are really kind of odd. Like, I don't understand why this has to float around like that. Yeah, this piece on the side here floats around. It doesn't actually like stay secure anywhere. Like I just, that kind of stuff really bugs me. He does look great. He does look super accurate in robot mode, but I don't know that I'm going to be in. For right now, I have no aerial bots that are going to be in my collection. So not Zeta, because after messing with the skydive version of that, thanks to my buddy Razorwire, Ron, I'm definitely out on that set as well. So I'm kind of at a loss for what to do with aerial bots for right now. I might pick up the Fans Toys one later if the rest of the bots and the combined mode start showing really good signs of it being a really solid combined mode. And I think, again, the interchangeable parts, just like their Menasor, is really nice. I really think that that's a nice option to have, even though I'm just going to keep it in one. Let's see. Pack says he agrees with all my losers, but won't be buying MP, OP, Bumblebee, or those NPM figures. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. All right. So, King Rouse Reviews 90. Thank you so much. I really appreciate. Again, I don't know. I don't think people should be spending their money on me, to be perfectly honest. I like doing this for reviews. I really like the interaction. I super appreciate it from King Rouse Reviews. I really do appreciate the $1.99. But anyone who's watching, definitely don't feel like you should spend your money on me. This collection is getting more and more expensive as time goes on. And so I want you guys to save it and get it towards your collection. Extra Zero says MP Black Arachnia was in my top 5 this year. Really? Top 5 winners? I thought she was well done, but I do think Takara had a lot of missteps this year. My figure of the year was another Zhang Winged Dragon. So two shout outs to that figure. I actually do have one here. It's not mine. It's actually in that closet in a big box. I was supposed to ship it out for Toy Dojo to a customer, and then they canceled. So now it's just sitting in the box. Maybe if I get really tempted by your guys' suggestions, I'll buy it from Toy Dojo and just open it up. But it wouldn't fit in my collection. It's huge, right? It's like massive huge. And my office is pretty limited, and this is the only space my wife lets me have my toys in. So I don't know where anybody would go. Eric, how's it going, man? MP45 is Totes Adorbs best MP alt mode to date. Yay. We're just gonna ignore Eric. Eric, if you don't know, is a Takara Tomy fanboy through and through. He'll say that everything is the best. He loved MP36, and he was like, it's without fault when he came out. MP44 came out. He's like, no issues. It's the best Optimus Prime ever. Same thing with Bumblebee, as you can see here. So Eric, I love you, man, but you need to get your priorities straight and your judgment checked. Oh, Paul, yeah, the grill bugs you about Psaltis. I can see that. I mean, it is front and center, but honestly, the chest on Springer bothers me. The FD Springer bothers me more because it has that square. Like, that square bothers me. It reminds me of the square that's on MP21 Bumblebee with the flip around emblem. I hate having the chest broken up with that look. The grill I would rather have than that. 598 seemed cool as hell in your live stream. He is a cool dude. He is super cool. The fact that he lets me do stuff like show him and Toy Dojo let me preview Gravestone, like that is just super cool. I'm gonna be sad to see this guy go, but yeah, he's a great guy. He always compliments my reviews, saying, "I don't know how you reviewers actually transform figures in front of a camera. It's super stressful." So it's good to know that he's not trying to take our jobs, reviewers. He's a very humble guy, and I think he's one of the designers that you can see figure after figure his evolution as a whole, and the fact that he's like the main designer behind X-Transbots and their progression, like they've progressed, I think, over the past few years. They're the company that has undergone the largest growth, I would say, of the third parties, both in quality of the figure and the construction, after hearing feedback and the overall design. It's getting away from, I think, the earlier on 598 had really accurate robot, really accurate alt modes, but the transformation always had something weird going on, like collisions or weird, weirdly engineered parts that made it frustrating. And I think he's now struck a really good balance between those. All right. Brian G says Motormaster did not scale with the rest of them. Yeah, I talked about that in my Volatus live stream. I think yesterday. Was it yesterday? 2 days ago. And I showed off all of the kind of the leaders from the various companies I had right now of the combiner. So I showed this guy off with Maverick, who I showed before, and Onslaught from Ocula Max, which is too far for me to reach right now without getting up. And but if you go check out that review, I show that they're basically all head-to-head. The Ocula Max Onslaught is maybe a couple millimeters taller than this guy, who is a couple millimeters taller than Maverick. And they're all just, honestly, just grossly outscaled, out of scale with their teammates. I think the only exception is Maverick, really, because Maverick's limbots are actually really tall. But that makes sense because they're jets and they kind of scale with Seekers and so forth. So I think it's one of those things that we're just going to have to accept. Extra Zero says, I think Maverick is great, but his articulation and engineering were blown out of the water by Road King and Spoiler. I agree. My goose broke on arrival. Extra Zero, I've heard that you are pretty notorious for having broken figures or quality figures, so I don't know if you're the best, most reliable source. You remind me of my friend Razorwire. He almost always has something wrong, a QC issue, and I don't know that is a company manufacturer fault or just user error. When it happens that much, it makes me question. So I don't know. Buta says he can't deal with Jabber's one-piece crotch. Yeah, and it does stick out a little bit. It kind of has a diaper look. It kind of sticks out, so it's not like flush here. It kind of like sticks out and juts out a bit. Yeah, but I'm not looking at my figures from the side. It's hardly noticeable from the front, so I can kind of forgive that. Brian says, I've got my MP47 in not mode. Oh, in bot mode. I'm that type of bot mode, and Willie's in Jeep mode. I think they look great. Yeah, I think Fans Toys is really good, but to be perfectly honest, I can't really, other than like paint finish, which is very much nicer on Fans Toys, and diecast / heft. I don't really, and those things don't really matter as much to me as some of the wins that they have in aesthetics and transformation. So for me, MP47 wins out. Do you have a way around the FT latex? I have to beg Toy Dojo to see if they have any left over, and hope that they have some. I usually try not to be too late on Fans Toy stuff because it can be very expensive. I don't know how to pronounce your first name, so I apologize. But Jewel Tiller, hello as well. Hector Zero says the wingspan on Winged Dragon is as large as my replica Captain America shield. That's big. Okay, let's see here. Greystone is absolutely beautiful. Hey, 2007 Super Sport. Nice to see you again. Deformer says he thinks it's a solid list. You have any inside information on Transform Element as a company? They seem to have come out of nowhere and just putting out really refined products. I do not. They came out of nowhere, like you said, and they're like kind of all over the place, right? So they did Masterpiece Prime, then they did, I think, Legends figure. What was it? Their Black Arachnia. Then they're doing the new Mirage, which looks really good. Masterpiece Mirage. I'm kind of excited about that because I think Ocula Max's design, while great, kind of has aged. And at least my first copy has a lot of loose parts. So I'd be interested in checking that out. Let's see. David Chen also hands down that KFC and X-Transbots is best, fastest customer service. Oh, really? Interesting. All right. Well, that's good. All right. Pack says my number 4 is his best or winners is Zeta Superion. So Zeta Superion is very interesting. So again, I talked about this before. I said I'm out of Aerobots. However, Razorwire did, when I dropped off his loaner skydive, he actually showed me the combined mode of Zeta. And while the individual piece felt kind of cheap and as an individual figure, the combined mode was really impressive. The articulation, the solidness that they had, the combiner joints, the ratchets. He showed me just like a one-legged high kick that he had with a combiner. Most regular small-size figures can't get that, Masterpiece included. So it's very impressive that he's able to do that. But I'm not going to buy a figure just for one mode, and the other 2 modes are honestly pretty crappy. So I'm not really interested in that. Buta said, I heard TE was Black Mamba / Iomex, which would be interesting. Black Mamba, if you guys don't know, is a company that does, I think, some of the KOs, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And they've done some original or modified original designs. So that wouldn't be surprising. A lot of companies, if you don't know, are like sister companies or parent-child companies of others. They just go under different names, usually to differentiate between different lines that they're supporting. Kind of like MMC does Reformatted, or MMC does non-masterpiece stuff, and their Ocula Max line, even though it's well known that they're sister companies or the same company, is specifically branded for the Masterpiece line. So I wouldn't be surprised about that. The DX Stunticons scale well together as well. Oh, really? Okay, well, that's good. Extra Zero is commenting, haha, Zero Luck is my nickname on the podcast, but I seriously think it just has to do with the amount I buy. My goose's arm was screwed too tight and it sheared off. All right. Well, at least you're self-aware. The first step is acceptance that it might be your problem. I Still Function says, will you be taking a look at Kang Toys Rampage? Trying my best not to ignore it, but it does look fun. So I really like the look of it. It's interesting because it's not like a G1 style, which is the only thing that might deter me from trying it out. I'd really like to try out this figure. We haven't had a Masterpiece, a really true Masterpiece Predaking yet, so I'm very interested. I still have my MMC one, but that's obviously very long in the tooth. So who knows? I might grab it. It really depends on when it comes out, what my budget is at that time, and how much it costs. So I'd very much be interested in taking a look at it, though. Extra Zero, fun fact, the only X-Transbox figure I had a QC issue with was the first release of Wheelie. I think everybody had issues. I don't think that was a QC issue. I think that was a figure / production issue. Everyone had a problem with X-Transbox Wheelie. I even heard the version 3 still has issues from TM Reviews. He just got it not too long ago. The majority of my Fan figures had QC issues out of the box. Yeah, I agree. A lot of Fans Toys figures seem to have some amount of issues, but overall the quality's still good. I just think it's funny because they always have the QC green sticker on there, and if they went through certain QC as they truly should have, a lot of these shouldn't have fallen through the cracks or gone out the door. Alex says, I just got my MNC Fraudo, love it, even with the tight tolerances. Yeah, the only real big tight tolerance I have is with these slider joints. But after you use it a couple times, it does loosen up a bit. So keep at it and just be careful. Don't want to break that figure at all. We really need a new Predaking that MNC is meh. And again, that figure was what? It's got to be like 7 years old now, something like that. Yeah, it's old. So, and it took a while for all the figures to release. So the earlier ones released a couple of years, I think, before the final one. So it's definitely one of the early ones that definitely needs an update. So I agree. We definitely need a new MP Predaking, and that's my favorite combiner. So I definitely need to have a really good one. I think the last comment we've had so far is I'm really excited for TE Mirage. I love the MMC one, but the sculpt is impressive. Yeah. So again, I'm really interested in it, but frankly, I think it's because of the fact that the MP line has shifted so much aesthetically into that more anime style, anime accurate style that even with the anime version of Ocular Max Sphinx, it doesn't fit that aesthetic that well. So the TE one, I guess they're calling Mirage. No, that's his name. TE Mirage does look like it's more in line with the current MP style that we're seeing. So that's also why I'm interested. So we'll see if I pick that up or not. Paul Spurgeon also says, yeah, V3 X-Transbot's wheelie is still weak. I think he looks great though in robot mode and alt mode. It's just his transformation's weird, a lot of like tolerance issues, and the QC could just be better. Do you like tune accuracy or what do you prefer? So I prefer tune accuracy as opposed to toy. See, so that yellow-eyed sound wave that you're using for your icon super bothers me. I need my sound wave to have red eyes, but it really depends. I think there are probably a handful of figures that I like the toy version better, but as a whole, I like the cartoon accuracy. I grew up with that more than toys. While I had a lot of toys, I definitely watched the cartoon way more. So that's where my priorities go. So I think we're caught up and we're getting to 1 hour. Again, thanks for joining and watching this really odd top 10 kind of winners and losers 2019. I wasn't planning on doing it, and the fact that 60 of you actually are sticking around and listening to me rant about toys that I think were cool and talking about the ones that you enjoyed is really enjoyable to me. So I really want to keep doing these. Again, live streams are just really so much more enjoyable, and also with how YouTube's shaking out with that whole Kappa thing. I don't know. I've always toyed with the idea of moving over to Twitch to do that instead of YouTube, but I don't really want to start over with new fan base. But I think it would just be an experiment that I try maybe in 2020. Anyway, so the last comments: Popeye's chicken sandwich or Chick-fil-A? Oh, he's bringing out the hard questions now. Oh, where is it? Right, Popeye's chicken sandwiches or Chick-fil-A? So I recently had the Popeyes one. It's solid. But the funny thing is, I thought it was weird that how similar they are. They're very similar, aside from the chicken, I would say. Popeyes is way crispier, but like the bread and the bag and everything else seems very similar. If I had to pick, I think I would probably go with Chick-fil-A. I think I could eat that more often, but I love the spiciness of the Popeyes. So it would really be depending on my mood. On a day-to-day basis, Chick-fil-A, but I really did like that Popeyes. It's a toss-up for me. 2007, you love listening to me? Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you. Happy New Year, everyone. Hope you guys really enjoyed the holidays, and your New Year brings about a lot of good fortune, good luck, big money, and a bigger collection. You're welcome, Eric. Ernie. Pack thanks, Chick-fil-A. All right, last of the comments. I'm trying to catch up. Oh, really? Oh, so that's one thing we probably should have talked about a little bit is the figures I'm looking forward to next year. But maybe we'll save that for another live stream, because there are a bunch of figures I'm interested in. Unique Toys Dragoon, their Megatron, looks fantastic. Everybody knows I'm really interested in the toy world. Bumblebee movie, Optimus Prime, and then they just recently Transcraft, another new company that I've never heard of. They just dropped their pictures of their prototype of a movie Bumblebee movie Optimus Prime that may even look better than Toy World one. So it's going to be an expensive year for sure. Still Function says He's Popeyes for me, so he's salty. So is that sandwich. Well, we'll get the first figure of 2020. I don't know actually. I do have a package coming Friday, but I don't think it has any Transformer stuff from Toy Dojo. Fast food love, yeah. All right, have a good one, Pack. Hashtag will you transform? No, I will not. Deformers, Happy New Year. And I think we have two more. Wish some third-party companies would tackle more obscure characters like Run Amok and Runabout. Yeah, I think one of my friends would really love a Punch Counterpunch. He's a big fan, and he would love to have that. But I don't know if we'll see. Do you agree with the way Takar doesn't have a standard for pricing MPs? I think their standard now is expensive. That's the only standard that they have. So, and also love Dragon Ball Z. So if you can't tell, all those boxes over there are Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z. Anyway, we've hit the hour. Thanks again, everyone, for joining. All the regulars, I Still Function. Eric joins a lot. 2007, I've seen you a lot. Usually Deluxe is in here. Usually T-Man is in here. Extra Zero. So again, thanks everyone for joining. Really love it. We'll continue doing this in the new year. And again, if I don't talk to you, have a great one. Thanks a lot, everyone.